Hi, welcome. My name is Laurence, and welcome to the Do It Live Autonomy podcast. Today we're joined by the lovely Agnieszka, among others who might pop in. She's going to be my awesome co-host this evening. We're going to go over some highlights from the past week, and you never know who's going to pop up on camera and chime in. So stick around. It's sure to be a good time. How are you doing this evening, Agnieszka?
I'm doing good, and I'm wondering if the birds in the background are loud enough for you guys to hear through the microphone. But
whose birds? Your birds or my birds?
My birds. Everybody's got birds. It's the middle of summer. All the birds are having a grand old time.
I do have some birds. Actually, we got rid of our roosters last night while I was shadow hosting. Candace set it up. Got 10 chicks. 2 turned out to be roosters. Can't keep them around. We got rid of them to somebody through Craigslist. It was a little traumatic, to be honest. I'll tell you about it later, maybe. But
it was like part of you was leaving you. These babies you've raised from childhood.
We do miss them. It was a little tough. Anyway, so the Do It Live podcast. I've got a upset cat in the background. Can we?
It's not that apparent.
Right.
It's so good. It's nature. What can we do?
So, last night's lecture was great, covering copywriting. Actually, before we get into that, I do want to cover some of the things from the week. Is there anything exciting that happened for you this week, Agnieszka, in or outside of the autonomy realm?
A lot of exciting things happened this week. I'm sure I don't remember them all because I didn't attend them all. I know that the first Toastmasters happened last Sunday after the Do It Live podcast, and that was great. We were just learning how to balance all the roles, and everybody's new, so it's kind of exciting. And at the same time, we're learning to juggle so many balls at the same time and be eloquent while we're doing it. So that's a lot of fun. And what else happened this week? Did you go to the? No, you didn't go to the Toastmasters. It's too early. I remember.
No, I was there. I was there last week, and I got up, and now I've got to speak for 2 minutes tomorrow. So
Oh, that's right. Sorry.
That's not the 2 minutes of hate, though, right? That's something different.
No, I don't think that our Toastmasters Club is going to be doing the hate thing. I can't see that happening. I think we all like move in the right direction, as Richard puts it. So
absolutely. I felt like I had to make a joke about it, and I didn't post anything. But Rod is the table topic master, and I think he's gonna challenge us, and it's gonna be great. I have a couple clips I pulled up.
Sure. What else happened this week? Was that from the Toastmasters?
Not from
the clips or from the other ones? Okay, go.
So we had Michael Badnarik. Let's see if I can play a little bit of this. This was where are we in his?
So Michael Badnarik talks about the Constitution, right? And your rights, and understanding at the deeper level the essence of being American, right?
That's right. So this past week we had lecture 5, and here we're gonna play a little clip, roll it like this.
Benjamin Franklin made a distinction between revolution and rebellion. According to Benjamin Franklin, revolution is an astronomical term. If you mark where the Earth is relative to the sun on the first day of spring, 365 days later, the Earth has revolved around the sun and ends up at its original starting point. According to Benjamin Franklin, a revolution is a change in the way that people think. Originally, we were hunters and gatherers. Everybody was their own master. Somehow, we fell into this trap of the divine right of kings, and we gave up our sovereignty and our ability to control ourselves, and we artificially gave that to somebody based on the circumstance of their birth.
All right. What do you think about that? Did you catch that, Agnieszka?
I think she's muted and she didn't realize it.
I did. I was muted and I didn't realize it. Thank you, Richard. I said, no, I didn't catch it, but he's a very good speaker and he speaks of very interesting things. Like usually his take on things is unique and it's really based in deep analysis and knowledge of the actual source materials. So that's really cool. Now, Laurence is muted and doesn't realize it.
I can save him. Sometimes when you're muted and you don't know it, it can be frustrating. So I wanted to step in with a calm, easy tone of voice and say, it's not a problem.
Yeah, you look like you're unmuted now. Yeah.
I had to restart voice meter banana.
It's always about that voice meter banana thing. I don't know why you guys still use it.
Do it live.
It's powerful.
Or that's why I'm scared of it.
You should be.
So I haven't caught up on the entirety, but I've started to listen to some of Michael's presentations, and I would love to get my hands on It's Good to Be King. I think I'd enjoy it.
Yeah. All right. So I read that last summer, and then my nephew, Michael sent copies of his books to my nephew as well, because my nephew is at, we were at the beach and he started reading the book. I took pictures of him. I'm like, I told my brother, hey, Kev, look, he's reading the book, he's learning It's Good to Be King. So it makes a lot of sense. It's a easy read. You can read it in a weekend for sure. And he's got a couple other books that are also pretty solid, very solid. Philosophical Lighthouse being one of them. And it's about framing the Constitution in terms that people need to, like, no one wants to take a Constitution course, just like nobody wants to go to the gym. You want to be in shape. You want to go to the beach. You want to do these things. So it's not the actions. Nobody wants to take a Constitution class, but everybody wants to leverage their rights. Everybody wants to pursue and attain happiness. And you're not going to do that if your rights are being trampled, right? So it's essential, and it's a struggle in formulating how to position that content such that people realize how much it influences their lives. And if it goes away, how drastic things really change.
Well, it sounds fantastic. Thank you for filling in a little on there. And I'm going to check out his book. And so next, I want to play a clip of Lisa Manfredi. She had another segment in her financial chats.
Hi, everyone. Hi, Lisa.
Hey, welcome to Autonomy.
Thank you. Thank you. Well, that's a really general subject. So maybe you could point me towards.
Yeah, so I know you had questions about business. You said you have clients and you wanted to be able to help them. What does that look like?
Well, I help connect business owners to resources that they need. So depending on, what, our like discovery call, it can vary, but most business owners I find are looking for a way to make profits and make more, especially in this really strange time that we've entered into. So I've been navigating a different landscape with meeting with them. So it used to be that I could just go meet face to face, which I felt I did my best business face to face with them. But now I'm, virtually face to face like that. And some of the people that I deal with are older and they don't really understand all that. So it's really helping them, I guess, the people that aren't tech savvy. And to help them not feel so scared or intimidated is more like it.
Okay, so you want to offer them value and do it in a virtual environment.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, I can hit some broad points where I think I can help in business. I think there are things like businesses often have cash reserves, whether it's for payroll or operational expenses or capital expenses, and they don't, they're not so judicious with where they put their money. So I think having a conversation about the vehicle that they're using to store that money that allows it to be liquid and does something for them. So earns them interest and dividends or something. It earns them some money that they can start compounding, but it's still liquid. I think that would be valuable. Most people just have it in some sort of accessible banking account and aren't thinking about any other alternatives. So I think that.
All right, so there's just a little taste of Lisa listening and giving some great value. I found those chats have been really great. A lot of good information, great stuff to review, and I know a lot of us have reached out to Lisa and set up meetings with her friend Gary. Having a second meeting with him on Monday myself, and very excited about the future in that department. Any thoughts, Agnieszka? Mute.
Gosh, again? Jesus. I said Lisa is a magician when it comes to understanding finance, and she can see things in a different prism than, especially business owners' perspective might be looking from one direction a lot of the time, and then she will come in with a different perspective, thinking in a different way, and come up with a variety of solutions, which is always interesting. And she's here. She should say what her magic consists of. If she wants to unmute, she may not be able to, though.
Hey.
Hey, Lisa.
I don't think it's magic, but thanks. I like that.
It sounds better when you say it's magic.
Yeah. I don't know. I take.
How can you prove that it isn't magic?
Fair.
You can't prove a negative. Don't play that game.
Why not?
No, I like the idea of helping people become financially free. I think a lot of people, freedom-minded people, could use that, and we need more people that are autonomous financially. And I like finding all of these little pieces and pulling them together in unique ways. So it's kind of like a fun game for me.
And you're good at it.
Thank you.
Yes, you are. So if you haven't checked out the replays and if you haven't come to listen, what are you doing? Check it out and get up to speed.
Mindset. We're talking about mindset on Wednesday. Please come. It'll be awesome. This is for you, Agnieszka.
Well, Wednesday, you scheduled this at the same time as Raising Excellence. So I
know.
offered,
You said you would learn to delegate and maybe take a night off.
Right. Well, we'll see. So far, no one seems to be able to run the OBS yet. So we're working toward it.
You can watch the replay.
Sam's on the way to learning it. Yeah, definitely. I was going to say that Raising Excellence did a week about father wound. That was fun. And we had Rod there the whole week. I'm totally changing the subject from me complaining about finance here.
Nice.
Okay, fine. Let's go back to talking about finance.
Well, we'll talk about finance on Wednesday. But next up, let's talk about some copywriting. We've got, oops.
Yeah, there was a clinic. There was a clinic earlier today on copywriting. It definitely wasn't a copywriting meeting. It was definitely a clinic. Only on Saturdays. Definitely on Saturdays at noon.
The copywriting meeting is on Fridays, so it couldn't have been.
No, today we had the third clinic, and I'm just gonna play a little clip where we started spitballing ideas, helping Mike Nimitz with a cold email he wrote.
All right. Ready for an alternative to the mainstream narrative? What if there was a radio station produced by passionate, liberty-minded people? What if that radio could help you manage the information overload? What if that content brought reason and logic back into your life? That raises your spirit and gives you hope for an abundant future. What if radio could raise your spirits and give you hope for an abundant future? Oh, I think we were in the process of working on this last week, and then we had to wrap up. So I think that these were like notes.
I kind of like that. What if radio could raise your spirits? And I think that should be the first sentence, maybe. Oh, that's already down there. You could just move it.
That's way too easy. I'm just keeping these so that we don't lose them. I kind of like that as an opening line.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. We don't have a.
I don't know about the reason and logic, but I guess for Emeraldy people, that's important to keep there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, this does seem like it's only a few lines, but it's speaking to a lot of different people, which is good.
Like some masculine input. Don't all speak at once, gentlemen.
I was actually pretty happy with where we were, honestly.
Yeah, I think this is one that we had started, we got working on, and it was just the next ones. I couldn't quite remember when I pulled this up, but looking at it now, I do. I think we worked on this one last week.
So what if we, okay, but it's not quite finished yet. So I like the beginning. I like all the questions at the beginning. And then instead of that, can we say this radio station or this or Autonomy Radio or whatever you want it, the radio station is called that you have in mind? But I'm pretty sure it's Autonomy Radio. Can you?
All right. So these clinics, the copywriting meetings, I've gotten to participate lately. I'm really enjoying it. I need to start doing the homework more, but even just observing and throwing in some ideas whenever I can. Really cool, really great stuff that's being covered, and it's a great supplement to Richard's course material. And of course, in a little bit, we're going to talk about last night's awesome lecture about copywriting. Your thoughts, Agnieszka?
I was just going to say that you're an amazing copywriter and that I would love to see you do more variety of copywriting because you're so awesome at the little one-liners for ads, but maybe some long copy would be fun to see from you.
Well, I'm getting there. I've been using some of my time. I try to write for 15 minutes, fill up a page when I'm at work. I take a break, and I've been getting more creative recently. And
Nice.
I think I read a little bit of it today, and I'll type it up. You know, it might be pertinent to, well, it is pertinent. It was sort of trying to flesh out my ideas for my own thing with like subdialect radio, and now I'm thinking that's like subdialect media, kind of the way Tyler is what do you call it, he's housing his services within the Stones. So yes, I'm trying to do more copywriting bit by bit and getting a lot of value from the talented writers and instructors, team leaders that we have in Autonomy Unlimited.
Like I said this morning, the copywriting is better than in a group because then the creative juices and electricity really flows between us. But yeah, last night's lecture, you touched on it earlier, was all about copywriting, and I actually quite enjoyed it. And you know what's funny? I'm season 1 Autonomy student, so that means I've already been through, this was my 3rd copywriting lecture, and I did notice that it was different than the last ones. And I do see how Richard's learning more from, you know, the things that he's reading and researching these days. But I also suddenly started seeing my business differently, my copywriting business differently, just by listening to the lecture last night. And I started questioning my lack of narrowing. You know, I want to be everything to everybody. And that's one of the mistakes that, you know, copywriters do, or people try to be everything to everybody. I always tell my clients not to do that, but here I am doing that myself. So that was good learning.
Yeah. So what else has changed? Have you seen, you know, what kind of developments have you seen from, you know, season 1 to season 2, now season 3, as far as the evolution of the copywriting lecture?
You know, I don't really know specifically. I just know that I've noticed some, you know, some of the things that we discussed at the marketing meeting and some of the new things that we're learning from a variety of sources. You know, it's reflected in the lecture and the way Richard talks, you know, talking about long copy versus short copy and stuff like that. Not sure if that was really thoroughly covered in season 1, but it's great. And it was great then too, but you know what I mean? But it's cool that, you know, every time I listen to the lecture, I hear it on a different level because, you know, it's like Herodotus. The Great Books Club was this morning, and we were talking about Herodotus. And every time you read Herodotus, you like pick up other layers of information that your brain just didn't grab on the first go.
Yeah, speaking of the Great Books Club, I checked out the replay of the meeting, not this past one, but the previous one, and it was great. I need to get caught up on those. I joined, and then I've never showed up live.
You know, I've been doing all this rebranding and rethinking and moving and all that. So I honestly have to say, I mean, I'm sure I've read Herodotus or bits and pieces of Herodotus when I was younger, and I listen to bits and pieces of it now. But I've never really read the whole thing. Like Alice has read it 3 times, right? But even so, my bits and pieces of knowledge here and there, it still informs the discussion. And so it's not a big deal that I didn't read it. I can still relate it to other works of the time that I have read or that I know information about, or, you know what I mean? Everybody has a different background. So it still makes the discussion interesting.
Absolutely. Yeah, I look forward to getting caught up, just going through all of those meetings. anything that Danny McCarthy is involved with is fantastic. And of course, anything you're involved with, Agnieszka, is definitely fantastic. So
Thank you. I was
all
going to
right.
plug Daniel's book. I have the
Oh,
title
yeah.
right here because I have it on my desktop as an inspiration. So yes, the latest book that Daniel McCarthy wrote is called The Story of Nowhere. Daniel McCarthy, and I think it is available on Amazon or somewhere. It's available
No,
somewhere.
I think it's the study. It's the story of now here,
Now here.
Now,
because that's what utopia means. It means nowhere. But I was being funny about it. But yeah.
I'm like, is
just
there a
tying it
break?
together.
Did I read it wrong?
speaking
Thanks.
of short copywriting and play on words, when Richard's lecturing and making movie references, you know, I like to get into memes. So I don't know. I don't think we want to rebrand, but you know, live.
Yeah.
I love that.
They live.
The-
Do it.
the
Live.
podcast.
Yes.
And then, you know, I came here to autonomize and chew bubble gum, and I'm all out of bubble gum. Dropped some They Live references, so there we go.
You had the time to do that while you're shadow hosting? That's pretty skilled.
I did. I had the browser closed on the computer, and then I thought everything was running smoothly, and I just got playing on my phone and seeing what I could accomplish with.
It says you had confidence in your abilities. You're like, oh, I got time to make memes.
A little overconfident, but I don't think I would have been as prepared if I hadn't been.
I think it was appropriately confident, and it's because of your preparation that you got to make memes.
Right on. Yeah. And I had a blast. That was a real pleasure.
Now let's see your face again. I'm done with this meme.
Oh.
Yeah, we'll see if Tyler and Joshua ever let you host again. I don't know if they will. We'll see if they want another night off with their families.
Well, it was exciting. It reminded me of DJing a little bit. Just all the complexity, all the moving parts, and the preparation.
That could be your handle, DJ Consciousness. That's what you do.
DJ Consciousness.
Yeah, cool.
Good.
You're good with the titles. I like that Autonomy Ambassador you gave me. I briefly considered having it my business title, but then I let go of the idea, but I still like it. And that was just like a spur of the moment Richard had. Oh yeah, what do we call these people?
So speaking of the lecture, I've got some slides pulled up. We talked about copywriting. I actually pulled up a lot of slides, so I don't know. Agnieszka, anyone else who wants to comment? It's not that many. It's a few, but
I liked what Dan Locke said in the video that was in one of the break videos yesterday about the copywriting, that copywriting is really selling, but it's selling in writing. And I thought that was just a really cool, it's not so much writing, like story writing or fiction writing. It's more like an act of selling. But copywriting is everywhere. And I didn't realize how many people didn't or don't even think about that every single like shampoo bottle that you pick up, hand cream, there's copywriting on the hand cream, right? Everything. So
it's everywhere. Yeah, you're right. I've definitely been more attuned to that, since going through season 2 of Autonomy, and it's a wide world of copywriting out there.
And obviously this hand cream that my mother got me, called Gardener's Dream, has good copywriting because she went for it. you know. Because that's how we know the copywriting is good. We actually end up with the product in our hands.
Absolutely. So, well, this is a definition I think Richard had of copywriting here: the act of writing text for the purpose of advertising or other forms of marketing. I mean, we've pretty much summarized it already. He talked about scarcity or abundance of mind. And that's been something taking me a while to pull myself out of, and applying it to a scarcity, that is, applying it to this. And it's going to be another.
And you know what that harkens back to? What I often talk about, effective self-parenting. Because if you have whether you have scarcity of mind or abundance of mind, depends on how you're raising yourself, how you're managing your inner world. And so effective self-parenting, being kind, gentle, you know, maybe strict, but not mean, kind of person to yourself, will nurture the abundance of mind. Anyway, just an observation.
No, that's great. It definitely applies. Here's another slide on scarcity. Yeah, you see
for the top option, the scarcity equals waiting. When I was in school, they were calling it paralysis, you know? So it's perfection paralysis, or paralysis through analysis, waiting for everything to be ideal and perfect before we decide to take an action to change our world, to make our dreams come true, to stand up for ourselves, to create a better world, all the things we want to do.
I've been good at paralysis analysis in the past. Definitely learning to break through that.
So to quote Tim Flynn, is it time to move from consumption to production?
Absolutely. Yeah. And yeah, I think I wrote something commenting on Richard's intake interview to that effect, how it helped get the ball rolling for me. I mean, it's still figuring out, well, my plan coming into autonomy. I don't know that there was much of one.
Okay, if you're gonna be heartfelt like that, you gotta show your face though, because you want to see the anguish on your face. Coming into autonomy, start from the top.
Yeah, coming into autonomy, I'm not sure I knew what I was getting into, but I knew I was familiar with Richard's work, and that conversation that I had with him to get into the class, got the ball rolling, helping me move from just being a consumer to, start producing content, and, got a ways to go, but I've got that process started, it feels like.
So it's been most of a year, right, since you started? A few months short of a year, 3 months.
8 months. Yeah.
So how do you feel about the conversation that you had with Richard, and how far you've come so far? And like, do you think that you're learning and on the right trajectory to your dreams?
Most definitely. My work life is much more settled down. I've used some of the knowledge or some of the wisdom that I've gained here to just help navigate from one position to another, to one that is quite a bit more autonomy, and I'm making a big impact there. And it just sort of feels like it's kind of on autopilot. Like now I can come home and I can focus on pouring as much time as I'm able to working on these skills.
But you know, the other thing you've been doing, the other one thing I've seen you do is produce, right? Produce those ads, produce little bits, do some videos and things like that. And I think because you have that expression for your creativity, you're not experiencing as much day-to-day frustration with your work.
Absolutely. Yeah, I've mentioned that the video editing that I've gotten into, I feel like it lights up the brain much the same way that making music does. So, you know, while maybe I can transition, you know, make that pay off and give me time to make music down the road, I'm definitely finding a good creative outlet there.
But also, you know, remember how you had all that pent up frustration and energy, and you've been able to let go of most of that and really refocus that energy for something positive.
Definitely. Yeah, feeling much more relaxed generally than I was.
You've really come a long way. I'm proud of you.
Thank you, Agnieszka.
Yeah.
I appreciate it. But back to the lecture.
All right, lecture. Not the effect that we have on people. We have to talk about the actual lecture. All right, fine.
I mean, we'll weave in and out of things.
All right.
But so this slide jumped out. I mean, it's a pretty strong message. Like just get started. Start your email list now. And so I actually took kind of a step towards that. I don't know. Last night while I was shadow hosting and memeing and taking notes, I thought, why don't I try setting up an Instagram page for like media production? How would that look? I figured out how I could do that, and then I have a website URL. There's nothing up there yet, but I can direct people to that, and you know, they could put their email in. So I kind of started the ball rolling on that last night. I thought that was it's a good takeaway. Just get started. Here's another one. You can speak to this, Agnieszka. You've been running your own business, working for yourself, doing all kinds of wonderful things for a long time now. And
I don't know. I just let the river of life take me where it takes me. I follow my intuition. I take small steps, and then they open up into bigger steps. And, you know, but what I don't do is I don't sit there and allow other people tell me what is impossible or possible. Like, I remember when I was in an office working 9 to 5, and I was like, you know what? I really don't want to be stuck in a place from 9 to 5. I want to be somewhere else. I want to be out. I want to shop at 10 a.m. I want to be able to go to the mall. And see, that's funny because now I'm able to go to the mall at any time, and I never go to the mall. But back then, downtown life, downtown Agnieszka was like, oh, you know, wandering through the mall at 10 a.m. is so much fun. And I have that ability. It's almost like everything I say, okay, I want to be able to do that, then it happens. But when it happens, I'm moved on to another goal and another thing that I want. And I'm moving on to that. Not that I'm dissatisfied. I'm quite satisfied.
right on. But that's what it's all about. Having that choice to go to the mall, go for a walk, you know,
Sit in the garden,
enjoy the late morning as you choose.
Yep.
So let's see, we talked about lead magnets, and of course we're all talking about this 19 essential skills for success not taught in school. Go check it out, getautonomy.info/19 skills. We've got some good stuff in there from Richard's experience. And well, you mentioned the video work I've been doing. We're gonna have a pretty cool ad, hopefully directing people to that page pretty soon. That's exciting.
A video ad?
Yeah. Have you seen it?
I don't think so. I haven't seen a video ad. I've only seen photo ads that you've done. I'm very excited to see a video ad. Can you show it to us, or is it like not accessible
Yeah,
right
I
now?
can show it to you. Yeah,
Do
I didn't
it.
know you hadn't seen it. All right.
No, that'd be fun to see what you created, because, you know, all your creative juices have been flowing so lovely.
Who's going to be first off the mute this morning?
I'm glad that I have this course now more than ever. Having a community of people to discuss how to be empowered and autonomous is really necessary and also therapeutic. I'm this much scared about the virus and a lot scared of what's coming down the pipe as a result.
All right, so first off, we're going to get you away from that fear and that stress that I'm sensing. And I want to get you into the practicality of exercising the conversations you're going to need to have.
Have you found that your skills aren't matching up with the challenges ahead? Here are 19 essential skills for success that school never taught you. Get your free copy by following the link below or visit getautonomy.info/19skills.
Nice. Nice. Who's doing the voiceover in that one?
Oh, that was Sonia.
I figured. That's so cool.
Yeah.
Good job.
Collaboration. Jandy
So
provided
hang on. Let's back up for a second. So a year ago, you didn't know how to make an ad, right? Like not even a 2D one, right?
Right.
And so now you're making not only the most successful ads here, and now you've made this really cool video ad. That's pretty impressive.
It feels like I'm getting somewhere.
But kudos, you know.
Thank
Some
you.
people had to go to university for 5 years to learn what you did in a year.
Yeah, I'm starting to have conversations with some of the kids at work that have done that, and then I'd be like, hey, what do you think this? How does this look? Oh, that's cool. Where'd you learn how to do that? I'll get autonomy. Check it out.
You know, now I just think about it, the 2 different degrees, because one degree would be in like video editing and stuff, and the other degree would be in marketing and copywriting. And the problem with the universities, the curriculum is a little outdated. And as we know from copywriting, everything changes every 3 months. So if your curriculum is even 3 months old, you know, things can go awry. And that's what's great about Richard's lectures, because he updates them all the time. Anyway.
That's right.
Just excited.
Very exciting.
I took a marketing course in college, and I got credit for, I didn't learn anything. All I was doing was cataloging my professor's slides from his vacation.
Wow. Hey, Roy. Thanks
I
for
didn't
sharing.
even know that clip was going to play when I said what I said, but that's hilarious.
So
What's next?
What's next? Oh, well, was just gonna show the summary slide Richard had. Have a product, service with integrity, communicate its utility in words, get the words in front of people who seek facilitation in that subject, make them an offer they can't refuse, deliver on that promise, repeat, scale, systematize, delegate, succeed.
And quite honestly, I don't even do all that. I just have a skill that's very much in demand. And I utilize it. I advertise it where it's needed, and people just come to me. I think that maybe if I did that, I'd have more clients. But could I handle it?
Well, it's got to feel good to kind of, I guess, attract the right type of clients, or the type of people that you want to work with, and not have to work with those that you don't feel comfortable working with, compromising values or beliefs.
That's what the rebranding is going to be all about this spring or this summer for me.
Excellent. Well, I know you put out a request for some help with that, and definitely hope I can play a role in that.
Well, I was just thinking that like 5 minutes ago, that I want to challenge you.
All right. So, anybody else want to jump in? That's all I've got for slides, but it's a great lecture. The raw upload is available, and a polished version is on the way. Who else wants to chime in? Make yourself heard.
What about Roslyn? Are you able to video yourself? Oh, she can't find the mute button. Go.
Yeah, oh, I can. Hello.
Hey, Roz.
Hi. Well done, Laurence. You're doing great. Proud of you.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I just realized I call you Roz.
That's good.
I was reading Roslyn. I'll stick with Roz.
Cool. Hello, everyone. Yep, great lecture last night, of course, and yeah, just enjoying this. I like the wrap up of what goes on during the week.
So hey, Roslyn, you came to both the Toastmasters meeting this week. You went to the autonomy one, as well as the one the outside, the actual Toastmasters meeting, official Toastmasters meeting. What did you think of that one? Did you like? What do you think Toastmasters could do for us if we really got it going?
Oh, good question. I really enjoyed going to the one that where I was a guest.
The real Toastmasters.
the real Toastmasters was great. What a lovely bunch of people for starters, and I think just seeing how the roles were played out, and yeah, there's a lot in it. I don't know the answer to the question, but because it's so new to me. But I learned a lot from that. I'm a bit nervous about tonight's Toastmasters or auto toasters, or tono toasters. Yeah, but look, that was really great. Actually, really a good learning experience. Yeah, and you did so well, Agnieszka. Really good.
My speech. Thank you.
Yes. It was a really good experience. I think Laurence was there too, weren't you, Laurence? Were you there as well? Oh.
Yeah.
It was great. That was my second time listening in to that group.
So what else did you catch this week, Roslyn, that you really liked besides the Toastmasters? Because I knew you did that one. So that's why I asked you about it.
Well, this week I got a few of the Raising Excellence videos. I really enjoyed those conversations. I'm not quite sure when they're on. I'm trying to work out my Calendly links and hopefully get some sort of calendar going, but I'm going around in circles with that. So that's a bit of a tech problem that I have, but I'm not getting tangry about it yet. I love that word.
Deirdre is also in Australia, so she already has the times of Raising Excellence. So I'm sure she can.
Sure.
It'll be easier to convert from Australia to Australia versus like North America.
I'm not converting the times. That's really easy. I've got a time conversion app or something now on my laptop, and that's just really easy to find the times. It's like scheduling it in. Like somehow I'm not used to using calendars and diaries and things like that. Haven't for a long time. I have an old-fashioned calendar, and I just write things on it when I've got appointments or something. So this is a whole new world now, encroaching upon. But I really enjoyed those conversations anyway. That was really good. I just had a great chat with Roy. So that was my first integration exercise from lecture 3. That was fabulous. I really enjoyed having the chat with Roy. It was pretty informal. It wasn't really interview style. We just decided to chat amongst ourselves, and that was great. And I think that's about it. I've just been checking in frequently and looking at different videos that are linked up. The Ice Age farmers, I'm sort of interested in that. So I'm seeing what they're on about. I haven't had a lot of time for that. But it's, yeah, Roy said to me before, it's like being a kid in a candy store, and that's how I feel at the moment. There's just so much going on that I really love to explore some more, see what else is out there. And in the meantime, I'm just trying to get through the other lectures, and yeah, that's about it. It's really rich. It's entertaining. I feel I've been very blessed to choose to do this at this time, because the other thing I've thought is how it's really it takes up a lot of headspace, and I like that. And I don't think about all the other crap that's going on in the world right now. I'm focused on something that's really positive and enriching, rather than whatever the effect of all that other crap is going on, which isn't good. It's not really healthy.
Whatever it is, we'll be ready for it, because we'll develop those autonomous skills to be able to handle anything.
Yes. So, well, yeah, definitely. So I'm really happy to be here right now. I have to say, I don't know what brought me here right now, but I'm really glad that it did. So thank you. It's been a pleasure getting to know everyone.
It's been a pleasure to get to know you, Roz.
Thank you, Agnieszka. Okay, can I unmute now?
Oh, you have my permission. Laurence, you have to give permission.
Oh, no, mute, I mean. That's it, mute.
Go for it. Thanks for chiming in. Thanks for chiming in, Roz. Good to hear from you.
Can we hear from Roy? He's here. I'd like to hear how his talk with Roz went and what he thought of the week.
Oh, yeah, I had a great talk with Roz today. Really interesting gal from down under. We went on and on, actually. We seemed to have a lot in common, so that was great. I feel like a kid in the candy store. I'm trying to suck everything up, and the one thing I missed that I really should have is your autonomy, or your Toastmasters thing. I wanted to hit that, but I missed it. I missed that, but it probably would have done me good, because I'm supposed to be an evaluator tomorrow, I guess. And so right now I'm kind of trying to figure out what I need to do for that, and trying to cook dinner and listen to you guys all at the same time. So, but yeah, I'm really enjoying everything. So
awesome.
Got a couple interviews in this week with Roz and George and Damien and Haven. I guess I had got Haven her first interview today too. So finally got her into the mix on that. So
it's almost like he's the autonomy ambassador.
And then you hooked me into that book club thing today, which was really interesting, but I couldn't add anything to that because I hadn't read the book. It was interesting, and then you ducked out. What happened to you?
I had to go look at an apartment because
Oh.
we're moving, so I had an appointment. So we were kind of listening to for a while in the car too, and we commented late towards the end a little bit, but that was about it.
Yeah. Oh man, my reading list is growing. I ordered Bednarik's books and what was the other guy that the time management stuff?
But the cool thing about the book club is that even though you may not have read the book, you know enough about history and reality and society to be able to comment, because every time when we talk about the books, we talk about the books in relation to society, in relation to reality, and you know about that. So you can still be a part of the conversation without having read the book.
Yeah, I guess so. But I just it's putting a lot more books on my reading list though. And I already have this huge list. It's like I have more books I want to read than I have time for, but oh well.
Maybe you need to take one of those speed reading courses so you can like do a book a day or something.
Yeah.
You can catch up soon.
Anyway, I got to get back to my dinner so I don't burn it here.
Enjoy.
Can I go on mute? Do I have to really ask permission? Or?
Oh, that's just silly. Of course.
All right. All right. Have a good one. We'll talk later.
Thanks for joining in, Roy.
Is anybody else wanting to chime in about the week? What they're loving about life, universe, and everything?
We want to hear it.
While they're making up their mind, I would like to share a few quotes. So this afternoon, we had a quote storm in the clubhouse. And what that is, we have a chat in the clubhouse, and there people post different inspiring and, not inspiring, whatever they want. They throw everything on the wall there, and we read it and enjoy it all day long. But this afternoon, Tim Flynn had a quote storm. So I selected a couple of the quotes I'd like to share with everybody. First one is by Henry David Thoreau. Disobedience is the true foundation of liberty. The obedient must be slaves. So that was cool, Henry David Thoreau. And then another one from same Henry David Thoreau. I was not born to be forced. I will breathe after my own fashion. Let us see who is the strongest. I love it.
Excellent. I caught that that quotation storm there as well. If I could read one that really jumped out.
Yeah, you read my favorite.
The conversation between Socrates and Plato. Socrates.
I was just looking at that one. Go.
Have you noticed on our journey how often the citizens of this new land remind each other it is a free country? Plato. I have, and I think it odd they do this. Socrates. How so, Plato? Plato. It is like reminding a baker he is a baker, or a sculptor he is a sculptor. Socrates. You mean to say if someone is convinced of their trade, they have no need to be reminded? Plato. That is correct. Socrates, I agree. If these citizens were convinced of their freedom, they would not need reminders. That really hit home today. I don't know, that was quite interesting.
So that's another book now we have to read, E.A. Bucchianeri, or whatever, however you say that.
Oh, that, okay. That was the author?
I believe so. Because he puts the author underneath the quote. It seems to be the naming convention he's following in this quote storm.
Yes, thank you for catching that.
Oh, like, what about this one? A person who's Sorry? What?
I was going to ask if you wanted to read Chris McMillan's submission, but go on. I'm just kidding.
No, I don't want to read Chris McMillan. He's learning to be more serious, I don't think that's going to work. In any case, this one I wanted to read was John Stuart Mill from the same quote storm we were just talking about. A person whose desires and impulses are his own, are the expression of his own nature, as it has been developed and modified by his own culture, is said to have a character. One whose desires and impulses are not his own has no character, no more than a steam engine has character.
Yeah, that's fantastic. And considering when you stop and think the schooling, the programming, the screen time from an early age, how few people, you know, may actually have a chance to actually think, to sit and think,
or express their own nature.
or
You
to
know what
even
surprised me?
Imagination.
When I did this speech this week on Thursday, I did a speech about becoming a freelancer, right? And as I was writing this speech, the same idea kept coming up, that after I became a freelancer and I left the 9-to-5 and I actually had freedom of my own hours, like I've made a lot of mistakes, don't get me wrong. I sometimes had to stay up till 2 o'clock in the morning finishing something because I was late. But what it gave me, the gift it gave me, is time to think. And this sentence kept coming up in my mind as I was writing this speech, time to think, time to think. So I think that's a huge concept, is that humanity needs time to think to be able to actually reevaluate their position in this world.
And yeah, it seems like so much of our lives are designed, structured such that we will lack much time to think unless you really fight for it and create that time yourself.
Yeah. And we're so, in a society, we're so ready to just accept whatever other people think for us. Right? You should wear a blue dress. You should not wear white pants after Labor Day. That's the stupidest one I've ever heard of, but that's just an example. Like, who cares what color pants you're wearing? Jesus.
One day it's no white pants after Labor Day. Next thing you know, it's got to wear a mask everywhere.
Well, last week I read somewhere that they had decided that 3 feet was okay for social distancing. But then this week I read something that said it was 12, it should be 12 feet. So
when in actuality, it should be 15 feet because that's how far the virus actually travels. If there is, you know.
Well, except for on Sundays. It doesn't travel as far on Sundays.
No, of course not.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. You got those data from the WHO website, right?
Yeah.
In any case, moving on.
Well, we'd love to hear from anybody else who has a burning desire to join the conversation.
Now you're lowering the bar. What if they were just on the fence and now you're like, you have to have a burning desire to come here, and they're just like, no, I'm all the way down here on the fence. I'm not all the way up in the burning desire zone, you know.
All right. Well, I won't throw out cheap, pithy phrases and cheapen our time here. But I kind of assume that anybody in here has got something interesting to say.
That's true.
But maybe I shouldn't make assumptions.
I'm looking at all these microphones. Nobody's unmuting.
That's all right. We can wrap it up, and
they can't find the mute button. Sorry. It's all good.
Hey guys, it's Curtis.
Curtis.
You coaxed me off of mute, Agnieszka. I just was like, I just downloaded the Discord for my phone, and I decided to take a look and check in there, and I seen that Laurence was in there doing it all by himself. So I just dropped in to say, hey, what's going on? You know, and should make sure he wasn't alone. And I was a little bit late, but I'm glad that a lot of people showed up and he wasn't alone. You guys are doing great without me. I did have a couple of points because I was listening to you talk about the whole white pants after Labor Day, and Now with 6 feet and then 12 feet and 15 feet for viruses and stuff. And I had an idea, or not an idea, it just reminded me of when this whole thing started, COVID, that is, it was only supposed to be 2 weeks, and it was only, it was only going to be 2 weeks, and then that was it essentially. And it wasn't supposed to stop. The phrase was lower the curve or something, flatten the curve. That was it. Flatten the curve. That was the whole thing that they wanted to do. Let's just flatten the curve, flatten the curve. It wasn't to stop the spread of the virus, because that's impossible. At least I remember that something to those talking points were being said right at the beginning. And now all of a sudden it's, if you don't, mask up and stay 12 to 15 to 6 feet to 3 feet or whatever it is now, you don't do that, then you hate people, you're an enemy of humanity. If you don't accept vaccines and if you don't do all of these things, then you just want old people to die. But that's not what the whole thing started out as. They keep moving the goalposts, changing the criteria, doing all of these things, and it's like they have us hopping from one foot to the other. In this case, it's, I'm seeing it all as all about control and not about what's good for us or anything like that. And it just kind of reminded me of that when you had that, when you were making those comments. And it just I just thought I'd voice that and chip in a little bit for the conversation. Keep the ball rolling.
Actually, I don't know if you're a part. We have a whole other server for news related to that. And in that server, if you were to scroll back up to like 3 months ago, you'd probably have some differing news articles than they are now. You know what I mean? It could be interesting to go like back in time.
Yeah.
Well, the new news is interesting too. Now that they're opening the economy back up, you keep hearing, oh, the cases are going up, the cases are going up, the cases are going up. Not the deaths, mind you, the cases. So they're testing more people and they're trying to make it sound bad.
Yep, that's another thing too. Cases are going up, and as it should, especially if we start mingling more and more, then of course there's going to be cases that are going to go up. But the point of it wasn't that there was, they were going to stop the spread altogether. It was just to slow it down so that it didn't overwhelm the healthcare facilities and, the hospitals and that sort of thing. So that the whole stopping the spread is not something that's even possible. Yet they're acting as though that is the case, that it is possible if we just obey. Right?
But the overwhelm never really materialized.
Exactly. How much ever.
Not in most communities anyway. I know that there are some exceptional communities where it apparently did materialize, but
they said that there was going to be. I'm in Ontario, in Canada. Agnieszka, you're in BC.
BC, yeah.
Yeah, right. So they were saying that there was going to be 30,000 deaths or something. We have just over 4 million people here in the in Toronto, anyways, right? And they were talking about 30 million deaths, or 30,000 deaths were going to be, as a result of this if we don't do these changes. And throughout the whole country, we have, 8,500 or something like that deaths in total. And that's if you believe those numbers, and the fact that everybody's being, if you die now, you had COVID essentially. So that the numbers are.
We had on Vancouver Island, we had 6 people in the hospital for about 3 months, and now we've had 0 for the last month. And there are over 1 million people on Vancouver Island, and there are no people in a hospital with it.
It's a little ridiculous. It's getting in. I mean,
think about that, but
yeah, it's just.
But when you were talking about the different rules and them being introduced differently, what it made me think of is the goods and services tax in Canada, how it was introduced as a temporary measure for a few years, just will catch up, and it's been decades.
Yeah, nothing's ever.
We're still paying it every single time and it's goods and services, so anything non-essential has this extra little bit of 7% tax on it.
Right. Yeah. You're only 7%? Oh, lucky you guys. We're 13 over here.
No, I think it's 15 for BC. I'm just used to thinking of Calgary because I used to live in Alberta.
Okay.
But no, hang on. Because goods and services tax is actually only 7%. The other percent come from your provincial tax, and they've amalgamated them so you don't feel so dipped when you're actually paying these.
Right, exactly. I used to be.
So it is 7%, technically.
Right. Technically, you're right. But I guess non-technically, it works out to be 13% of everything you buy or sell. Right? That's
Yeah, I don't even pay attention. I know it's 15 in Quebec. I think it's 15 in BC too. I'm not sure. I don't even care.
So we're doing pretty good. I shouldn't complain
try
with what you're
About
saying.
it.
I wonder.
What we have in BC that makes up for the higher taxes is great weather. So
Yeah, that's true.
early mornings and all that. Anyway, we're totally usurping the meeting from Laurence.
Oh, sorry, Laurence.
Bad for him because, you know, he's doing this maiden voyage and we're here supposed to be the wind in his sails, not, you know, the anchor at his bow.
That's true. I came to try and support for a bit. Laurence, lead away. Tell me what to do. I'll follow your lead.
Oh no, it's, you know, fantastic. Well, not even. It's a good discussion. I appreciate the contribution. Curtis, have you caught last night's lecture yet?
You know what? I caught it. I started at about 11 o'clock my time, so I missed the first couple of hours, and then I ended up falling asleep about an hour or so later. And then I went on to the site to try and download the lecture today, and it wasn't on the Teachable, so I didn't get a chance to get through it yet. But I heard you were doing all the playing all the videos and everything. I was like, you know, good stuff, man. I'm glad, happy for you. And now you're hosting and everything. You're getting right in there. Nicely done, sir.
Thank you. Yeah, upgrading my production skills. Yeah, it's not uploaded to Teachable yet, but I was able to post a raw recording from Zoom. I think I put it in the class chat.
Yeah, it's in Discord, the raw version.
Oh, okay. I'll have to grab that, download it. I usually download it and then I'll listen throughout the week because I'm driving for a good portion of each day. So I can just play it through my car stereo system. And I just play it and I'll listen to it, you know, once or twice, you know, throughout the week.
And you are the perfect person that we're going to make the Autonomy Radio for. This is exactly the kind of person. So you don't have to click buttons, switch from podcast to podcast. Everything will be streamlined directly to your whatever streaming device.
Perfect. That's I did hear about that. What is the what's the progress on that? Is there a progress report?
I think I'm in some meeting next week about it, so we'll see. It was my idea, but I claimed that I don't want to have any input into it, and now it's taking off, and now I have input into it. So we'll see.
That's how it goes, though. When you come up with the idea, that's it. You got to take the ball and run with it.
I know, and you know what the funniest thing is? In season 1, I'm the first person who actually came up with that line. It's been used over and over, and against me too.
You're a victim of your own genius.
Sadly, as usual.
So what's the premise of the Autonomy Radio? Sorry, go ahead.
It's just to take all the extras, like not the main lectures and not the Q&As, but all the extra little supportive materials like the Lisa, Raising Excellence, the Bitnaric, and all of those things, and stream them in one continuous stream so that you don't have to actually switch back and forth, and you can just have it in the background while you're washing or cooking or driving or whatever.
Ah, okay, I see. So it'd be one podcast, download that, let it go, and it might be 4 or 5, 6 hours long or what have you, right?
Yeah, well, most of these extras are about an hour long each. And if we do them like in a stream, you know, I think it may be handy for a lot of things.
That's it. I try to catch as much as I can live when I can remember as well, right? So I check on and then I see, hey, the link is up now, and I join, and you know, a lot of times I'm coming in a bit late, but try to do a little bit and get there and participate. So it'd be nice to have that I can listen to again. That'd be good. Nice. Good idea though.
Yeah. Doing it live.
This is my first do it live too. I haven't caught one yet.
It's awesome.
10 weeks later, and I finally got one. I'll have to go back and check them out. I wasn't sure exactly what was going on here. But I guess it's just a nice free talk, and we let Laurence do the hosting and guide the conversation, I guess, right?
It's like a weekend review. It gets edited later, and then we post it on YouTube for like to be a little bit of an autonomy advertisement / review / whatever.
Right.
And you know, they cut out a bunch of stuff, like useless stuff, and just keep the good
so basically everything I
This
contribute
will probably be cut out.
No worries. That's okay. Nice though.
Just a correction, Curtis. The raw Zoom recording of last night's lecture is the next to last post in the class announcements channel.
All right, I'll head there to grab it then. Thanks, Laurence.
Excellent. You're welcome. Well, should we tie it up in a nice, pretty bow?
Put a flower on it.
I think that's your decision to make, sir. What do you think?
Well, I think we've put in some good time, covered a lot of great stuff from the past week. It's been real fun to get to do this. So go ahead and say that's all for this week's episode of Do It Live Autonomy Podcast. Thank you for tuning in. Thanks to Agnieszka for joining me. Thanks to Roy, thanks to Roz, thanks to Lisa Manfredi, thanks to Curtis, and everybody that listened in
And
live.
Richard chimed in at some key points.
Richard Grove, the man that's brought.
I got background noise. That's why I've been on mute.
We still appreciate
Excellent show.
Thank you. So join us again next week. But first, make sure you subscribe to the podcast on YouTube so you never miss an episode. If you want to know how you can get autonomy, go to getautonomy.info/19skills and tell them any one of us sent you.
And when you subscribe, make sure you hit the bell icon so it like reminds you when we're on.
Good point. All right. Thanks a lot, guys.
Good job.